Hey everyone, it's David here with Surplus Fund. I'm going to talk to you today about 4 ways of collecting on tax overages in your area, and they differ, but I'm going to talk to you about 4 ways. But do me a favor, before I do that, if you've not subscribed to my channel, come on, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to my channel, click the notification link. I would love for you to be one of my lucky winners. Okay, so this property went up for auction in Florida. The asking price was $4,520.95. It sold for $22,000 even. It has a surplus of $17,479.05. If I put this one under contract, I will get $5,243.72. That's a pretty nice payday. If I do one of those a month, I would be doing over $60,000 a year. If I do 2 of these a month, I would be getting over $120,000 a year. And literally, these deals are out there and they're all over. So let's talk about this one. And in this particular case, just to give you a little background on it, it was brought to me by someone, so I'm working this one now. This one it's a probate. It's a deceased owner. So it's going to go to a family member, and I'm going to have to notify the family. I'm going to involve my attorney in this one. It's going to be a little more complicated. So I typically charge 30%. I'll probably charge 40% on this one if I get the deal, and then I'll give my attorney 10% for working it, and I'll get 30. All right, so let's go and look at this, and let's talk about this. All right, so number one is you've got to be able to find your leads. Like I said, you can look at your local county, you can go down to some auctions, you could look in the newspaper, you could Google it, and just auctions in your areas, but you've got to find out what's happening with the auctions, and even some past auctions where people haven't collected. So you've got to be able to find out where the auctions are, how they're happening, research it. I always tell people take a day off work or find a day that you can go down there, watch a couple auctions, see how they're auctioned off, ask questions, go up to the auctioneer, go up to the person who bought it. Hey, I see that it was going for $4,520.95. It sold for $22. Do you know what happens to that extra $17K? See what they tell you. Go in the courthouse, ask them if they have a record keeping process on that. And if they can't tell you, find someone who does. Go back the next day, call if you have to. Find out where they're recording and what's happening to that surplus. In fact, I had a woman in the program who did this, and she went in and she started writing letters to people who formerly owned the houses that got auctioned off, and she said, hey, did you know that you have a $17,479.05 surplus that went over? And she got a power of attorney, and she started collecting on these. In 3 months, she did around $50,000. We've had tons of those. I was one person who was afraid to make calls. Okay, so find the auctions, you find the deal, you locate and start in your backyard, go to your local county, find out if they work with third-party locators, air finders, property locators. There's a million different names. Find out what their rules are. If they don't, see if they deal with power of attorneys, and if you get a power of attorney, and then you could do a contingency agreement with your claimant. All right, so that's the first thing you want to do. Secondly, you've got to vet your leads, and when I say vet your leads, you want to make sure that there's no other liens on them. Now, there are plenty of times where there are liens on leads, and for whatever reason, they don't file a claim. So let's say that this property here has a $22,000 surplus, and they have a first from Bank of America for $50,000. Bank of America more than likely will come in, grab this property, take the $22K. So Bank of America will more than likely come in, they'll grab that $22K, and they'll take it. Now, let's say that Bank of America doesn't. Like in my county, it's 120 days. So after 120 days, like let's say it's 125 days later, Bank of America says, oh, wait, we missed this one. We'll put in a claim. My county, the claim automatically defaults to the former homeowner, the person who lost the property. Bank of America will no longer have the right to that claim, and that's the same with HOA. The only exception I've seen has been child support and IRS. They do what they want when they want to do it if you owe the money. So you want to vet it. Most counties have it where they have it right there on what other liens are on the property and who's going to get paid out, and they get notified. Some don't. You might have to look at a title report, or you might want to do like a property research. In past YouTube videos, I do show how to research a property and how to look at claims and what's against it. But you want to be able to vet it. Most counties, you can do that right at the county. Now you've done that. So you found the claim, you vetted the lead, you see that there's $17,479.05 in there, so there's a decent amount of money in there. Now what you want to do is you want to contact the individual and let them know that they have $17,479.05 they didn't know they had. They're going to believe you on the first phone call, and they're going to say, well, thank you, you're going to put it under contract and everything's going to be fine, right? Well, you don't want to word it like that, and I give a lot of videos on script, and I give a lot of videos on how to say and what to say. When I call people, I'll say, I'm calling about the property I want to. In this case, like I usually call and say, hi, this is David Church, trying to reach Sean Smith, and I pause. That usually people aren't always ready for that. I'm not calling and saying about their car warranty or their IRS or anything like that. You're competing with a ton of fraud out there, but the problem is you're the real deal, but people don't always believe you're the real deal, and you've got to convince them. So I'll say, hi, this is David Church, trying to reach Sean Smith. John, are you aware that the property on 123 Main Street sold for $22,000, $17,000 over the asking price? And I'll pause. Or are you aware that it sold for $17,000 over the asking price? Pauses are huge because it gives them time to think, it builds up curiosity, and they start asking questions. And you go with those questions. Who am I? How did I get this info? Well, that's all in my script. Well, I work with, in my corpus, JD Vista. I work with JD Vista. I was assigned this file. I came across your file, and I noticed that this went for over the asking price. At no cost to you, we can help you retrieve these funds. We will get 30% once the funds are claimed. We will get 30%. If we don't get the funds, we get nothing. You got to understand that sometimes, especially if it's mortgage overage, there's a lot of emotion on this. There's a lot of people that are very, very, very emotional. So that's what I do right there with that one. Now, as we continue talking and as this continues to go on, I offer to go ahead and send them the information, get it under contract, and I send my notary. But I have just made contact, and my contact's through the phone. It's kind of old school. There's a lot of different ways. Some people do email, some people do text. Just make sure you have the right phone number and the right apps with that, because you could get flagged for spam. In the text messages, you get flagged for spam, and you can no longer text, or it identifies you as spam. So you want to be very careful on how you're using your phone number. Just make sure you understand your local laws in the counties, and keep in mind everything I'm telling you. This is not legal advice. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just someone who collects claims, and I teach other people how to do it. And this has been a really good, lucrative business that I love doing. All right. And then if they say, yeah, let's go ahead and move forward. So in this particular property, I would involve my lawyer. I'd find out if there's a probate, a will, an estate, whatever. And then the executor or the person in charge, I would go ahead and send them a contingency agreement, which splits the difference between my corporation and them, including my lawyer fees. And I would send them an assignment of interest. An assignment of interest basically assigns all the funds for the property to JD Vista. What JD Vista will do is it will cut them a check at the end of the deal. So say I get that $17,479.05. I would basically keep $5,243.72, and I would send them the difference on the claim. I would send them proof of how much got brought in, show them a copy of the check, show them a copy of the contingency agreement. Any bills I have, I'll take off the top. So if I send them the notary, and say the notary's like $50-$60, I'll take that off. I'll send them a notary receipt, and then I'll say, okay, it was $17,479, now it's $17,379. And then what I do is I go ahead and I send them the contingency agreement for them to sign. And then it's also good to have a power of attorney that will allow you to go ahead and act on their behalf. And then I get the check directly paid to me. As I get the check directly paid to me, like I said, I pay them directly, and those are the agreements. Those are the 4 steps of being able to find a tax overage. This is legit. This is a real tax overage and how to do the business. All right, do me a favor. If you got any questions or remarks, feel free to comment below. I do try to go through and answer my YouTube comments, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you, everyone, for watching.